Look at the sort of three clubs in the main who are considered to be in a title race. They've all had this period of being questioned inside 7 games, Jamie, haven't they? City with those 2 defeats, Arsenal for not being adventurous enough when they went to Anfield, and Liverpool are in that period at the moment.
Yep, absolutely, and I think it might be that kind of season. I genuinely believe that. If you were to ask me whose shoes you'd like to be in right now, you'd have to say Arsenal. And that was before a game where people were questioning if they lose at Newcastle, are they out of the title race? And that's how quickly things can change. You know, Liverpool were unbelievable last year. I use the analogy that they climbed a mountain. They had so much togetherness. They were a desire to go and win the title as a team. And everything was spot on. You know, they had players that were playing at the peak of their form, you know, Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, and everything was absolutely right. And they blew teams away in the first half of the season. This year, it's not going to be the case. And I just look at Arsenal and I see that they almost have what Liverpool had last year. And Liverpool have to somehow turn it around and get that sort of togetherness back and that belief, because it's sometimes... I wasn't lucky enough to win a title, but when you can see when a team are going to win it, and United were relentless at it, you can see that they knew what they had to do, and that's what Liverpool have to find again. And it's a little wobble. I said use an analogy, yes, it's a mini crisis, but they will get through it because the players they've got are too good for it not to happen, but they need players to get back in form. Manchester City have got the know-how, as Michael well knows. You mentioned it earlier on how many titles they've won. This is Arsenal's first time, and I think... right now, for me, they are the favourites. The squad that they've built and the players that they've brought in gives them a real advantage.
But you don't think that they could necessarily be as relentless as previous title winners have maybe been because of the nature of the league?
Well, I don't think what Arsenal can.
Yeah.
No, they have the look. They have that look.
They could be as relentless as, say, Liverpool last season.
I think right now they're the ones to beat. You know, I think when I watched them at Newcastle, that was such a big moment for them. And we're talking 7 games in. Years ago, we didn't even put the league table up to 6 games, but now we've already going like this. They're going to happen. He's rubbish. He's okay, and then we're writing people off left, right, and centre, teams off. So everything can change. But as we talk right now, after 7 games, an international break upon us, I think Arsenal do look the team to beat, but do not write Liverpool off. But they have to find that belief again, because it has been difficult for them this pre-season. Make no mistake.
I think it's about who holds their nerve. When we won the title in 2012, we didn't believe we could win the title. Then United go points clear, or we were points clear. Then United went points clear. They dropped points, and then we had to go into the final stages needing to win. I think there's a different psychological battle with yourself and the team and everyone around you if you go 5 or 6 points clear. I would rather be chasing than be ahead like when we won the league, because no one's expecting you. I think Arsenal now, they've got the players. Jamie's alluded to it. They've got the squad, but they just need to get over the line, and that is the bit, because it's going to be. We were all saying Liverpool, weren't we? We was all saying Liverpool at the start of the season. Every pundit was writing them off. Everyone was saying Liverpool. They was talking about all the signings. Isak going to be the different. Ekitike has been outstanding as well, and now a week later we're saying, well, Arsenal. I think it's just who holds the nerve the best at the right time.
And emotion
Correct.
Played a part. There's no doubt at all for Arsenal that emotion has got in the way in the last few years for Arsenal at times. They have to stay calm. But with the players they've got, the only thing is Odegaard picked up an injury yesterday, and he looks like he'd found a little bit of form again. But there's going to be so many twists and turns. And I looked at Man City first half today, and we both did, and we're like, wow, this looks like a real team.
But then you look at the second half, and Brentford could have easily nicked an equaliser.
Absolutely. With Thiago had a big moment in the first couple of minutes of the second half when he goes through, and that's why you paid the big money for Donnarumma. That's what he does. He was an amazing save at a really important time, because if it goes to 1-1, you never know, the game could then turn, and then you're massively under pressure.
So it's massive encouragement for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And you're talking about teams who win the title can sometimes drop silly points, and West Ham today, would that have been potentially the kind of game it has been in the past where Arsenal have dropped points at home?
Maybe. I didn't expect them to, and they haven't done it. It looks like a solid 2-0 win. It's a good scoreline sometimes when you just clean sheet, you've scored 2 goals, you've done your job, and obviously the title rivals that you're up against at this moment in time go and basically lose. So what a week it's been for Arsenal. That was massive last weekend at Newcastle. As soon as that first goal went, I shouted the word big, because I felt it was big, and then the second goal goes in and you're thinking, right, that's a big moment. That Liverpool have lost on the Saturday at Crystal Palace. Arsenal have won. They needed that. They needed that. But I talk about intent a lot, and Mikel Arteta changed his intent about being positive and going for it and having to win and picking a positive team and then making really positive substitutions, just like Enzo Maresca's done here today for Chelsea. It matters. Your manager, we've got to stop listening to what they say and look at what they do during the game. That'll tell you everything. Are they pragmatic? Are they cautious? Are they managers that, you can be cautious and pragmatic when you're 2-0 up at home. I'm sure Mikel Arteta's 2-0 up against West Ham. We've won this game. We don't need to go and win it again. That's the time to keep possession and sort of move it around the back and maybe, just be a little bit more careful, because you don't want to, before an international break, you don't want to go and make a big mistake. But I think Arsenal are set up really nicely now. I think they'll see this last week as a massive week because of what they've done, but also because of what's happened with Liverpool. They've given them encouragement.